What's up? What's going on? It's Justin. As you probably know, I'm here with Mark Passio, and I have a couple of occult questions for him to clear up for everyone who watches me who doesn't pay enough attention to him. Anyway, my first question, Mark, does the fact that I talk about the occult and occult information mean that I like the devil?
I would say certainly it doesn't mean that. The occult is simply hidden information. Occult means to hide or to conceal. To occult something is to obscure it from people's vision, from the average everyday person's awareness. So the occult is just hidden knowledge about ourselves and about how the human psyche operates, and it's hidden knowledge about the laws of nature, the way that the universe operates. And if you can control those two things, if you can control an understanding and keep it hidden about how human beings' minds work and behave, and how the laws of nature work and behave, then you can gain a very significant tactical advantage over your fellow human being. And that's what the world of the dark occult is all about. It's about gaining a tactical advantage and using hidden knowledge against people to subvert and enslave them ultimately. And positive occultism is just kind of to level the playing field and to bring that information back into general public awareness and help to spread it in a way that helps the average everyday person to understand what is going on and has been going on this planet for thousands of years.
Right, so all we're trying to do is basically de-occult this information and basically stop this power divide between these people that rule over us and enslave us and everyone else. All right, second question. Why is language such an important tool for the ruling elite?
Very good question. Language, to quote Terence McKenna, he once said that the world is made of words, and if we know the words that the world is made of, then we can make of the world whatever we wish. So, persuasion is a big tool in the arsenal of social engineers. And they know how to put words together in such a way that they work upon the minds of the average everyday human being to pull on their heartstrings, to emotionally manipulate them, and to psychologically manipulate them. So the ways that people are communicated with and the ways that we put words together, and in fact that these social engineers put words together, can have a significant impact and influence upon your everyday person. And that's why they take language very seriously, and they work very hard to manipulate people's understanding about reality and what is possible. And of course that is done through the language and rhetoric, the rhetorical language that they use on an everyday basis to manipulate the masses. So, it's why in dark occultism it has been called casting spells. You're using words to put together in certain strings as a spell to cast over people's minds, to get them to believe things that are really not true and are not based in reality, and certainly not based in any kind of morality and natural law. So language is definitely a powerful tool in their arsenal, and if we don't understand the grammar, the knowledge, the information that we have to get at a very baseline, if we don't take in the data set that we need to take in, we're going to be very easily manipulated by these masters of manipulation. And they've done a very powerful job at performing that manipulation and twisting the world into the form that they want to see it twisted into.
Absolutely, yeah. I learned a lot about word magic and language from him. Also, George Carlin is someone else who goes into great detail on that type of stuff in his comedy routine. Okay, third question. Why is symbolism important to know?
Well, to expand on the previous question about language, symbolism is a hidden language.
Right.
It's, you could say if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then by extension, a symbol would be worth, an entire book of language. Mm-hmm. Many symbols are books in and of themselves. When you decode them allegorically and you pick apart all the aspects of the symbolism, you understand that there's an entire hidden language that exists around us through symbolism. And these occultists and manipulators and social engineers often use this hidden occulted language of symbolism to communicate between themselves, to communicate in their network of social engineers. and the everyday population, the average person in the in the population has no idea what these people are saying between themselves. So it could be a hidden form of communication, is what symbolism really is. And until we become literate in the language of the symbolism that these people are using, they're going to be able to basically communicate at a subconscious level to us and put ideas in our subconscious mind without the conscious mind ever really realizing what they are telling us or saying to us. So that's why symbolism is very powerful. I've done a lot of work in decoding occult symbolism over the years. It's part of what my workshop at Acapulco was last year.
Right.
And it's something that I continue to expand upon in the realm of decoding occult symbolism whenever I really can. And so that's why I would say it's very powerful to them, because it reaches people's subconscious mind when their conscious mind is unaware of what's really being said to them.
Very important, and probably my favorite subject of looking into. Okay, are chemtrails real? Because people yell at me about this all the time.
Chemtrails are certainly real. I think part of the problem, the disconnect that people have in understanding what they are, is that scientists don't call them chemtrails. Generally, conspiracy researchers call them chemtrails. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to look at what they really are, you need to look up the term geoengineering, specifically stratospheric aerosol geoengineering is one of the scientific terms applied to what conspiracy researchers refer to as chemtrails. A lot of times they have simplified this term and called it stratospheric injection is one of the new scientific terminologies applied to it. But basically what we're talking about is taking a tanker jet up into the lower stratosphere and spraying particulate matter. Oftentimes it is chemical in nature, but sometimes it is simply small particulate particles of soft metals, and the type of soft metals in particular are in the alkaline earth metals group. So if you look at the periodic table and you go to the alkaline earth metals, a lot of the sprayed particulate matter from aerosol injection or stratospheric injection or stratospheric aerosol geoengineering, whatever scientific term that they want to happen to be calling it this week, okay? You'll notice that a lot of the particulates that they're spraying are in the alkaline earth metal group. Now, what that will do when that comes down through the stratosphere and into the atmosphere and down to the ground and into the soil and water table is it will alkalize the soil and it will alkalize the water. Now, what we really should be concerned about is the alkalization of soil, because when soil is alkalized, crops do not grow with any kind of nutrient density. And what this will do, a soil should be an acid pH to grow food, especially if you're growing organic food and you're growing food that you want to be rich in nutrient density. You always want the soil to be acidic, not alkaline. It should be toward the acidic side of the pH scale. And alkalizing soil will make it much harder to grow nutrient-dense foods in that soil. So this is part of a plan that is part of weakening the population, poisoning the food supply, and or making the food supply more difficult to grow and making it less nutrient-dense, which ultimately has a very negative long-term effect on any population. So, and there's probably many other, agendas in aerosol injection or stratospheric aerosol geoengineering. So that's the terms you want to look up when it comes to what chemtrails really are, as opposed to the conspiracy research term of chemtrails. And that's one of the reasons that they continue to do this, among many others that you can research.
Okay, thank you. And final question. Mm-hmm. Do you think that slaves built the pyramids?
Oh, it's an utterly ridiculous proposition on its face.
Yeah.
When you look at the incredible magnitude of artistry and workmanship and precision that had to be done to build a structure as aligned as the Great Pyramid with multi-ton monolithic stones, almost every person at work in the erection of these incredible monuments would have had to have been master builders. To suggest that slaves that would have been held in duress against their will would have built structures like this is just absolutely insane on its face.
Ridiculous.
So I don't think that's a theory to me that doesn't hold any water whatsoever. For anybody who has studied the pyramids even a little bit, even a modicum of study put into what these structures actually are, what they contain, the amount of blocks, the amount of matter, the amount of workmanship that would have had to have gone into their construction, to suggest that they were built under duress by slave labor is one of the most ridiculous theories ever postulated. And the fact that modern so-called Egyptologists continue to propagate this outlandishness, they should be utterly ashamed of themselves.
In the middle of the desert, by the way, just to make things even more difficult or whatever. But all right, Mark, thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Justin, thank you.
Definitely.
Great questions.
Let me just see this real quick. And for anybody watching, make sure you go to whatonearthishappening.com and you'll learn a lot of this stuff too. Have a nice day.